Thank you, Brooke. Back here live at the historic Presbyterian Museum in the heart of Jackson Square as we do look back on this day, 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed this region. We are live throughout Southeast Louisiana this morning, telling local communities stories of recovery and resilience, beginning this morning with St. Bernard Parish.
And in St. Bernard Parish, you know, one of the places that continues to be a point there where we have Winston Reed, who's joining us live as Rocky and Carlo's restaurant and bar, somewhere that a lot of people, I'm sure, will recognize this morning. And so we see you standing inside there, Winston. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So the owners and staff here at Rocky and Carlos's restaurant and bar have been so welcoming. They opened their doors and allowed me to sit down and talk to their customers. And many of the customers here that come to this restaurant share the trauma from Hurricane Katrina, but I noticed that another thing they share is a love for St. Bernard Parish and the spirit to rebuild.
I worked for a different company during the hurricane.
I was one of the assistant district attorneys for St. Bernard Parish at the time this happened.
You can see this very well-defined eye.
When we seen the forecast that the way it was moving, we decided just to leave earlier, you know, just to get out. And we left. We wound up in Memphis.
Just the first sight of it is, you know, was hard to deal with. Nobody was around. It was like a ghost town.
When we came back and everything was like, you know, mud in the house, everything turned upside down, I guess from the water.
The courthouse building had about waist-high water in the lobby. If you were standing there, it would be up to your belt.
Look, that's what we got.
So I'm getting calls on the phone and going on jobs, trying to find addresses, no street signs. It was a total mess.
What happened to your home?
Lost my home. My home had about 12 feet of water over the top of the roof. So we had a place in Ponchatoula.
I ultimately bought a house in Metairie to live temporarily while my house was being restored.
We had to gut everything, put everything out on the street, you know, tear everything down, rebuild it again.
Why did you decide to come back to the parish?
Didn't even think about going anywhere else, really.
I had no desire to move to Metairie or St. Tammany or anything. This is where I live. I raised my kids here. My wife and I enjoy it, and this is where we came back to.
And this restaurant has its own rebuilding story. It did close after Hurricane Katrina for 18 months, but reopened. And then in 2012, it closed again for 4 months because of a fire. The owners told me that they reopened again because of the community and the support that they received from the people here in the parish. Brandon, Bree.
We do appreciate that, Winston. You had a chance there to speak to some very important people in the parish and the lunchtime rush there and the story of the recovery. What stood out for you most there in their stories that they shared with you?
Well, what stood out to me is, you know, I just spoke with the parish president, Louis Pomays, about an hour ago, and he says that when they were able to open up the hospitals, open up the schools, and implement new infrastructure here in the parish, that really brought people back into the community. But he really felt like the comeback was real here in the parish when he was able to walk into a grocery store or a restaurant like this, and everybody knew everyone. And that's what I felt when I came in here yesterday. Everyone knew each other. There was not an unfamiliar face here at Rocky and Carlos's restaurant and bar.
All right, Winston Reed telling the stories this morning. We do appreciate it, good sir.